Hey everyone, it is Ellie here, and today I really want to talk to you about something called wholehearted living. I just finished Brene Brown's book called The Gifts of Imperfection, and it says let go of who you think you're supposed to be and embrace who you are, your guide to a wholehearted life. So what she did is she went years and interviewed so many people who were living wholeheartedly, and she went and broke down into this really easy book to read. There's several different guide points that she puts in this book about parts of our life and different aspects of our life that really will make us wholehearted and happy and living our life to the fullest, which is what we're all here for, right? So as I was reading this book, I jotted notes down on different points that really stuck with me. Now, granted, the entire book is phenomenal, but I did write down just a few things that I really enjoyed from it that I'd like to share with you. If you've already read the book and you've got something else out of it, please make sure to share it with me. If you haven't read this book yet, I'll try not to give away everything, but I want to tell you my favorites. All right, so we're gonna start from the beginning. Now, on page 6, I would like to read to you the last quote that we have here on her introduction. And this really sets a really good mindset for the whole book. It says, "Owning our story can be hard, but not nearly as difficult as spending our lives running from it. Embracing our vulnerabilities is risky, but not nearly as dangerous as giving up on love and belonging and joy. The experiences that make us the most vulnerable. Only when we are brave enough to explore the darkness will we discover the infinite power of our light." Awesome. So you have to embrace yourself. You have to embrace your vulnerabilities to be you. And we're gonna go way more into that as we go on in the book. So second point is on page 20 of the book. And we turn to there, and really here it's talking about help. Super interesting, because it mentions how our innate need for connection makes the consequences of disconnection much more real and dangerous. And it's easy to mistake technology for connection. And then she goes into that there's two different types, or we should say that the world puts us into two different types of people, whereas people who need help and are asking for help. And then you have the people who keep offering the help. When really, very interestingly, she says, the truth is that we are both. Until we can receive with an open heart, we are never really giving with an open heart. When we attach judgment to receiving help, we knowingly and unknowingly attach judgment to giving help. Great, right? So truly, you may think that you don't need help and you're Mr. Independent, Miss Independent, but we're all human, right? We're embracing the gifts of imperfection. It's okay to ask for help. And it's okay if you're able to give help, but make sure you're doing both. Okay, our third thing that I really enjoyed was on page 37. So, 37, this is in a chapter that's called The Things That Get in the Way. And super interesting, she states that we are all trying to make good choices, right? We want to make good choices, we want to make good, healthy lives. But yet, we're the most obese, medicated, addicted, and in-debt Americans ever. And why? Why? Because we don't talk about the things that get in the way, right? We just say that we need to be healthy, we need to be fit, we need to have our finances together. But we don't talk about life, and we don't talk about the things those roadblocks that get in our way and how to deal with those. It's almost like we only look at that final destination and nothing that comes in our way. So we really have to sit back and deal with these things and realize that we're all imperfect. And you just have to do one step at a time. All right, so on to page 42. So turn with me here. This was all about shame and the difference between shame and guilt. So she comes to the example of being bad, right? So if your child does something bad, you say, you were bad today. But really, shame is that you are bad. Whereas guilt is just that you did something bad. So we really want to make sure that we know the difference between the two. And just because you may have done something imperfect, you may have made a mistake, doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It means that you just did something bad that day. So really interesting that there's a difference between the two, because I think a lot of us immediately say like, oh, you should feel sorry for that. You did something bad and that defines you. When it doesn't, not at all. All right, page 53. So this chapter is all about authenticity and being you. And really, to be you takes a lot of bravery, and you have to be vulnerable, and it can be hard. It can be hard because there's so many people that still criticize. And it's interesting, it says, the problem is that when we don't care at all what people think, which how many people do you know that are like, oh, I don't care. I don't care what they think. I do my own thing. But is that good? Because the problem is that if we don't care at all what people think, then we're immune to hurt, and we're also ineffective at connecting. So courage is telling our story and not being immune to criticism. Staying vulnerable is a risk we have to take if we want to experience connection. Now, you have to remember that there's always going to be people that criticize, and there's always going to be criticism around you. But think about it. Those people are probably just vulnerable themselves, and they may be a little intimidated by what you're doing and how authentic you are, that they're making themselves feel better by putting you down in some sort of way where oh, I don't like her shirt, oh, her voice is silly, or simple things that don't even matter, but they're criticizing you for it instead of embracing your authenticity. So just a little point in there to appreciate other people and to give people credit where credit is due. All right, we're going on to page 58. 58. All right, this is a good chapter about perfectionism. Interesting, right? When the title of this book is The Gifts of Imperfection. So I think a lot of us strive to be perfect, and we may not even realize it sometimes. And this point in the book, I feel like is really good for everyone, all different ages, male, female, doesn't matter. And it's about ourselves and about our body image, self-confidence, relationships with food, emotions. And there's two different types of self-talk, and I want to read them both to you. So the first one is perfectionism self-talk. Sounds something like this. Nothing fits. I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm ashamed of how I look. I need to be different than I am right now to be worthy of love and belonging. Crazy, right? But people think like this. Now, here is a healthy self-talk about our body image. It says, I want this for me. I want to feel better and be healthier. This scale doesn't dictate if I'm loved and accepted. If I believe that I'm worthy of love and respect now, I will invite courage, compassion, and connection into my life. I want to figure this out for me. I can do it. Now you shift your mindset like that, you're gonna go places. All right, on to page 74. And this whole chapter is actually about addiction and numbing, and how it's amazing how if we don't have, a goal or a purpose or a meaning in our life, how easy it is to get overwhelmed, and how easy it is to get addicted to something and to find something to numb the emotions or the feelings or the circumstances that are in our lives. So we almost numb our mental states toward things by this addiction. And she states here that you need to have a sense of purpose, meaning, and perspective in our lives. And that allows us to develop understanding and move forward. Without purpose, meaning, and perspective, it is easy to lose hope, numb our emotions, and become overwhelmed by our circumstances. Now, Brene ends every chapter with a dig deep section. So the dig stands for 3 different things, and she breaks it down into 3 different categories at the end of how she took every guidepost that she wrote in here and related it to her life and how she took it to heart to live more wholeheartedly. So I want to share with you this one. And the D in dig stands for deliberate, the I stands for inspired, and the G stands for going. So I want to share the deliberate one with you. So it's get deliberate. And she writes, a good friend of mine heard this wonderful intention setting reminder during a 12-step meeting. And what it is, it's a couple of questions that you really need to ask yourself. It's 1, have I been abstinent today? 2, have I exercised today? 3, what have I done for myself today? 4, what have I done for others today? 5, am I holding on to an unexpressed emotion today? And 6, yeah, what is something good that happened today? So it's kind of just a different set, just a different mindset to really have. And it's nice because she asked you at the end, how are you going to dig deep? How are you going to use everything that she's taught you in this chapter toward your own life? All right, moving forward, we're gonna go to page 83 and 84, so kind of both there. And we are gonna go to where she talks about another book, actually. So this is the book called The Soul for Money by Lynn Twist. And this was an epic part of the book for me. Reason being, she quotes a part of this The Soul of Money book, and she quotes the part about not being enough. And if you've read any other of Brené Brown's books, not enough is a huge category for her that she talks about all the time, and how we're so hard on ourselves that we're not enough. But really we are. We are worthy of everything that you believe you're worthy for. So this is so many people, including myself. She mentions that before we even get up in the morning, we've already convinced ourselves that we're not enough, right? We didn't get enough sleep. She don't have enough time. I didn't have enough exercise. I don't have enough work. I don't have enough profits. I don't have enough power. I don't have enough weekends. I don't have enough money. So it's always not enough. So before we even get up out of bed, we've already convinced ourselves that we're not enough. So are we truly gonna have an open mind and an inspiring mind for the rest of the day? No, you've already put yourself down. So it's really changing that mindset. That's what's gonna help you get purpose and meaning to your life and live wholeheartedly. Stop being so hard on yourself. We are imperfect, so embrace it. You are enough. All right, on to our next chapter here. So page 96, we're gonna go to. And this really talks about creativity, which I thought was really interesting that she had a chapter on this. And because a lot of us, like she states here, a lot of us feel as if taking the time to be creative or, do art or music or a lot of different things that are, on our to-do list, that it's almost a waste of time. When really, I love that she states, for decades, or for the first time in decades, I started creating, and I haven't stopped. I even took up photography. It might sound cliche, but the world doesn't even look the same to me anymore. I see beauty and potential everywhere, in my yard, at the junk store, in an old magazine, everywhere. It's been a very emotional transition for me and my family. My kids love art, and we do family projects together all the time. Now, creativity has been shown to bring us together and connect us. It connects us with other people who may enjoy the same things that we do, but also connects us to the earth and the world and the beauty of it. There's so many negative people in the world and so many negative views that embracing our creativity side can only bring positivity. All right, the next chapter kind of goes along with this, and we're gonna go to page 100. And this chapter is about play. And it's interesting because she starts this chapter saying that these wholehearted people fool around a lot. And she goes, I don't know what you call it, but they just hang out and do fun things. And she finally realized and compared it to as children, like, they play. And adults need that too. There's a book that she talks about by a Dr. Brown called Play: How It Shapes the Brain, Opens the Imagination, and Invigorates the Soul. So he's found that play shapes our brain, helps foster empathy, helps us navigate complex social groups, and is the core of creativity and innovation. Cool, right? Now, I know a lot of people who look at play and creativity and see it as a waste of time and almost get a little anxiety over just doing it, and they feel bad that they're enjoying themselves instead of doing the yard work, finishing their paper, cleaning the house, cooking, all of our normal, to-do lists. They feel bad and literally give themselves anxiety over it and can't enjoy it. Now, my goal for you, if maybe this is something you do struggle with, right here. This doctor, he's a psychiatrist, clinical researcher, and founder of the National Institute for Play, is stating that you need it. You need to relax. You need to enjoy yourself. And that'll help you find your purpose. That'll help you not be so shameful for yourself and not so hard on yourself. It says that where in my work as a shame researcher comes in, today's culture where our self-worth is tied to our net worth, and we base our worthiness on a level of productivity. So it's hard to spend time doing purposeless activities. I found that interesting, purposeless activities. Yet, now we're figuring out that we need them. And it's so important that our bodies need this, and play actually helps us deal with difficulties. It provides a sense of expansiveness, promotes mastery of our craft, and is an essential part of the creative process. So go out and play, guys. All right, we are gonna move on. I have 3 more things I want to show you guys. Page 116. Now, we had a creativity chapter, we had a play chapter, and now we have a meaningful work chapter. So this doesn't have to be your 9-to-5 job, right? We still have to work, we still have to make money. This is talking about doing something meaningful for your life. That just gives you empowerment, makes you feel good about yourself. And I know I spoke about how she ends each chapter with the dig deep, the deliberate, inspired, and get going. So I want you to read the get going part of this chapter. It says, Make a list of the work that inspires you. Don't be practical. Don't be practical. Don't think about making a living. Think about doing something you love. There's nothing that says you have to quit your day job to cultivate meaningful work. There's also nothing that says your day job isn't meaningful work. Maybe you've just never thought of it that way. What's your ideal slash? What do you want to be when you grow up? What brings meaning to you? Cool, right? All right, on to page 121. Again, the next chapter goes along with the last three as well. This chapter is about laughter, song, and dance. Kind of silly, right? Kind of goofy. But that's her point. Her point is to embrace the goofiness, embrace the feeling of being freed. Laughter, dance, and song make you feel good, don't they? So why do we so often feel like it's uncool to dance? Uncool to sing along? Because we're worried about our perspective, right? We're worried about what someone else is going to think about us. When we're setting aside our own freedom and enjoyment because of what they think. Why? So I want to share with you a little example that she gives. She's with her daughter at the store, and she tells her daughter that they're going to run in, run out, because she doesn't have everything together, makeup's not all done, da da da. So when they go in, the daughter starts dancing in the shoe department, and Renee sees these other mothers, and she's like, I don't want to be seen by them, like I wanted to get in, I wanted to get out. And then she thought about it. Her daughter is here dancing, carefree, loving life. If she were to be like, no, stop that, don't do that. What is that telling her daughter? That's crushing her freedom to express herself. So you know what she did? She went and joined her. She didn't worry about those other mothers that were there. She embraced the goofiness, embraced the expressiveness that we can do. Now, don't worry about it's uncool, all right? Enjoy yourself. Be authentic. Now, to bring this book to a close, on page 126, which is the last page, and her final thoughts, states that she wants a wholehearted revolution. And the goal is to think that your story matters because you matter. How powerful is that? Don't ever think that your imperfections can't help you grow and be the best version of yourself. If you haven't read this book yet, you absolutely need to. Like I said, it's a simple, fast read, but so powerful. So powerful. So truly ask yourself, just by these couple things that I stated today, are you living wholeheartedly? Are you expressing yourself to the best of your ability? I hope so. Hope you guys enjoyed my breakdown of the book. Like I said, if you have not read it, go get it. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. See ya!